Welcome back to Coin Explorer. Today we're diving into the fascinating story of a coin that may look ordinary at first glance, but it carries with it an entire chapter of American history, economic struggle, and numismatic intrigue. I'm talking about the 1966 United States Lincoln cent, better known as the 1-cent coin featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Now, you might be wondering, what could possibly make a tiny copper coin from 1966 worth talking about? After all, billions were made, and it's just a penny, right? Well, not exactly. Behind this coin lies a story of coin shortages, government intervention, unusual minting practices, collector controversies, and design details that still fascinate numismatists to this day. So, sit back as we journey through the history, design, mintage, collector value, and hidden secrets of the 1966 Lincoln cent. To understand why the 1966 penny is important, we need to step back in time to mid-1960s America. The United States was going through an intense period. Socially, it was the height of the civil rights movement. Politically, the Vietnam War was escalating. Economically, there was turbulence caused by rising metal costs and coin shortages across the nation. By the early 1960s, Americans were facing what became known as the Great Coin Shortage. People were hoarding coins, especially silver dimes, quarters, and half dollars, because of the rising value of silver. Even copper cents were being stockpiled by some collectors and speculators. Businesses, vending machines, and even banks began running short of coins. The U.S. Mint came under heavy pressure to fix the problem. In response, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which had a major impact on the way coins were minted in 1965, 1966, and 1967. One of the most important provisions was that during these years, the mint did not place mint marks on coins. That means every 1966 penny, whether it was made in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, looks the same, no mint mark at all. This was a deliberate move to discourage collectors from hoarding coins based on mint location. So right away, the 1966 penny is part of a bigger story, a time when the U.S. Mint tried to outsmart the public and keep coins in circulation. The design of the 1966 penny is familiar to almost everyone. It's part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. On the obverse, or front side, you see a portrait of President Lincoln facing right. This design was created by Victor David Brenner, a Lithuanian-born sculptor. When it was first released in 1909, it was the first U.S. coin to ever feature a real person, breaking with the tradition of using only allegorical figures like liberty. By 1966, Brenner's portrait had been in use for more than 5 decades, becoming one of the most recognized images in American coinage. Surrounding Lincoln's profile are the words, "In God We Trust," at the top, "Liberty" on the left side, and the date, 1966, on the right. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to replace the earlier wheat ears reverse. This design, created by Frank Gasparo, features a detailed engraving of the memorial in Washington, D.C. And if you look very closely, you can actually see a tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a small detail that amazed collectors when it was first introduced. Above the memorial are the words, "United States of America," with the Latin motto, "E pluribus unum," meaning, out of many, one. At the bottom is the denomination, 1 cent. The 1966 penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. It has a diameter of 19 millimeters. So while it may seem like just a small piece of copper, it carries within it the story of Lincoln, American unity, and a time of national change. Now, let's talk about how many 1966 pennies were made. Because of the coin shortage, the mint was running its presses at full speed. In 1966, they produced 2,188,147,783 Lincoln cents. That's over 2 billion pennies in a single year. Additionally, there were proof coins struck at the San Francisco Mint, though they did not carry an S mint mark due to the policy in place. Instead of normal proof sets, the Mint issued something called Special Mint Sets, SMS, between 1965 and 1967. These SMS coins were higher quality strikes with better detail and shinier surfaces than regular circulation strikes, but they were not quite the same as true proofs. Collectors still highly value these 1966 SMS Lincoln cents today. Even though 1966 pennies don't carry mint marks, that doesn't mean they're all identical. Like any mass-produced coin, varieties and errors exist. Some of the most collectible types include doubled dies. Certain 1966 cents show doubling in the date or lettering caused by die misalignment during the minting process. Off-center strikes. A portion of the design may be missing if the blank planche wasn't centered correctly. Clipped planches. These coins have a curved section missing from the edge, where the blank was punched incorrectly. Struck on wrong planche. Occasionally, a penny may have been struck on a dime or foreign coin blank, leading to unusual weight and size. These error coins can be worth far more than face value, sometimes dozens or even hundreds of dollars, depending on rarity and condition. Now comes the big question. What is a 1966 penny worth today? Here's where we need to be careful. Unlike misleading claims you sometimes see online, the truth is that most 1966 pennies are not extremely valuable. Billions were made, and most survive today. A typical circulated 1966 penny is worth about 1 cent. Its face value. In uncirculated condition, with no wear, they may be worth between 10 and 30 cents. A gem-quality coin graded MS65 or higher can sell for a few dollars, maybe $5 to $15 depending on the market. Special mint set coins, especially those in high grade with cameo contrast, can be worth $10 to $50 or more. Rare error coins, like dramatic doubled dies or off-center strikes, can range from $50 to several $100s. So while most 1966 pennies are common, there are exceptions that make them collectible. Why collect 1966 pennies? You might ask, if most are worth only a cent, why should anyone collect them? The answer is that 1966 pennies are a window into history. They represent a unique time when the mint experimented with special mint sets, removed mint marks, and struggled to meet public demand for coins. For beginner collectors, 1966 pennies are an affordable way to start a Lincoln cent collection. For advanced collectors, the challenge lies in finding pristine, uncirculated examples, SMS coins with high cameo contrast, or rare mint errors. In other words, there's something here for everyone. Let's wrap up with some fascinating tidbits about the 1966 penny. 1. The 1966 cent is part of the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. The Lincoln cent series has been around since 1909, over 100 years, and counting. 2. 1966 was the only year when all U.S. coins carried the date 1965, 1966, or 1967 without mint marks, making them easy to spot in a collection. 3. Collectors often call the SMS coins quasi-proofs, since they were struck more carefully than circulation coins, but lacked the mirror-like perfection of true proofs. 4. Because of the copper content, each 1966 penny actually contains about 2 cents worth of metal at modern copper prices. However, it is illegal to melt down U.S. pennies for scrap. 5. Some of the finest known 1966 Lincoln cents have sold at auction for hundreds of dollars, not because they're rare overall, but because flawless condition is rare. And that brings us to the end of our journey into the story of the 1966 Lincoln cent. What seems like just a tiny copper coin actually carries with it a fascinating tale of American history, of shortages, economic challenges, design beauty, and numismatic surprises. So next time you come across a 1966 penny in your change jar, don't just think of it as just another cent. Instead, think of it as a piece of history that connects you directly to the events of the 1960s and the enduring legacy of President Lincoln. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin history, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Coin Explorer for more fascinating stories about coins from around the world. And remember, every coin has a story, and sometimes the smallest ones carry the biggest lessons. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of Coin Explorer.